When you go to use the serger at school, it will likely have the cover on. So the first thing you're going to do is remove the cover from the machine. Once you've removed the cover, you need to lift the thread guide holders. And so they're at the back of the machine here. And you just pull them up as far as it will go. And then after you've done that, you need to check the threads and just make sure. Sometimes they fall out of the thread guide, and you want to make sure that each of the 4 threads is threaded through where it needs to go. If it's not, when you start serging, often one of the threads will break. And there are 4 threads. The threading is a little more complex than the sewing machine, and so if we can prevent thread breaking, that's a good thing. Now these have been tested and set. So there are 4 different tensions for the 4 different threads, and you should not need to adjust that for most serging you would do. And if you feel like something's not working properly, check with your teacher about what needs to be done for that. So this serger is all set and ready to sew. Now, sewing with the serger is not the same as using a sewing machine. And so I'm going to show you a few things about how this works. Now, when you use the serger, there is a knife blade that trims the seam while you're sewing. So very important to be accurate, because you can rip the stitching out, but you can't put back what's been cut off. So you want to go slowly and take your time. So now usually when I sew with it, I sew with the edge of the fabric along this edge right in here. However, there are times you may want to trim more fabric off depending on what you're making, and so you can move this out further and the blade will trim as it sews along that edge. Most of the time we're going to just line it up on the edge right here. Now when you start, this is the presser foot, but the presser foot is down. And that is the way you operate a serger. You do not raise the presser foot and put the fabric underneath it like you would on a sewing machine. So it's down, and you can see it's longer and it has more feed dogs than the sewing machine. And so I can just put my fabric in front of the foot and along the edge here. And then when I press and it starts to move, the feed dogs will grab it. I don't have to push it. As long as I've got it right under the tip of the foot, it should grab it and start moving. And it's trimming just a tiny little bit here as it sews. Now it does sew a little quicker than the sewing machine, so again, use your foot pressure to adjust your speed. And I'm just going to finish this off. Now I've come to the end of the fabric, and this is another way the serger is different from the sewing machine, because I am going to keep sewing and this will not jam up. So I want to sew, and I'm actually going to leave some tails here because we need to deal with securing the ends. I have another video that talks about ways that you can secure the ends.